Arcane. The world of Arcane, based on League of Legends, is two cities divided by hatred and class war: Piltover, the shining city of progress, and Zaun, the festering undercity. If you're born in Piltover, life is hard but safe, ruled by greedy inventors and politicians obsessed with wealth. If you're born in Zaun, it's a toxic wasteland of crime, chemical pollution, and violent gangs. Living in Zaun means struggling for food while choking on fumes with Shimmer, a drug that turns people into violent, mutated husks, spreading like wildfire. Political tensions between the cities mean that even a single spark or invention can start riots, explosions, or assassinations, and the few who rise up against the system, like V and Jinx, live violent lives of constant danger. Here, you're either exploited or crushed, and there's no middle ground. Number 2. Jedi, Fallen Order. This is the Star Wars galaxy at one of its darkest points, after the fall of the Jedi Order. The Empire reigns supreme, led by Darth Vader and the Inquisitors, hunting down every surviving Force-sensitive. If you're unlucky enough to show even a trace of Force ability, you're either enslaved, experimented on, or executed. Even ordinary civilians live under crushing Imperial rule, constant surveillance, stormtrooper raids, and worlds stripped of resources. For rebels or Jedi like Cal Kestis, every day is survival against overwhelming odds. You can't trust anyone. Your friends might betray you to the Empire for a handful of credits. In this galaxy, freedom is dead, and the shadow of the Empire stretches across every star. 3. Horizon Zero Dawn. At first glance, this world looks beautiful: lush forests, towering mountains, and a tribal society living close to nature. But the truth is horrifying. Civilization has been destroyed, replaced by robotic creatures modeled after animals, machines that can hunt, kill, and dismember you in seconds. These machines weren't always hostile, but something went wrong, and now they roam the wild like apex predators, controlled by an ancient AI gone rogue. Most of humanity lives in fear, armed with nothing but bows and primitive weapons against beasts made of steel. Beyond that, there's the haunting truth of how humanity destroyed itself with technology, leaving only fragments of history. If you survive the machines, disease, or hunger, the world's secrets might still destroy your mind. Number 4. Smiling Friends. On the surface, this universe looks absurd and comedic, but that's exactly what makes it unsettling. Everything in Smiling Friends feels off. The characters are strange, their movements uncanny, and their world operates on bizarre, often grotesque logic. One second you're dealing with a depressed client, the next you're fighting nightmarish creatures, grotesque mutations, or demonic entities, all played for laughs. But imagine actually living in this universe. You'd never know what's real, what's safe, or when reality itself might warp into some surreal nightmare. Here, the line between comedy and horror is paper thin, and your sanity would unravel trying to make sense of it. Number 5. Arkham Knight. Gotham City is one of the worst fictional cities to live in, and during the events of Arkham Knight, it's at its absolute worst. The city is under martial law, evacuated except for criminals, thugs, and terrorists like Scarecrow and the Arkham Knight. Even on a normal day, Gotham is plagued by corruption, gang wars, and psychotic supervillains like the Joker or Two-Face. But during the events of this game, Scarecrow unleashes a fear toxin that drives people insane, turning the city into a nightmare of hallucinations and violence. If you're not killed by gangs, you're hunted by drones or driven mad by fear gas. Batman fights to save the city, but as a regular citizen, you'd be lucky just to see the sunrise alive. 6. Ghost of Tsushima. This world drops you into 13th century Japan during the Mongol invasion. Villages burn, families are slaughtered, and samurai traditions are crumbling under the weight of brutal war. As Jin Sakai fights to save Tsushima Island, the countryside becomes a battlefield littered with corpses. The Mongol army is ruthless. They burn homes, enslave survivors, and use fear as a weapon. Even if you're not killed in the fighting, famine, disease, and displacement will likely claim your life. Honor and tradition matter little when survival itself becomes nearly impossible. Every day here is a choice between dying with honor or living with compromise. 7. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Feudal Japan in Sekiro is unlike any history book. It's a brutal, supernatural nightmare. The land is plagued by undead warriors, demonic creatures, and powerful warlords obsessed with immortality. The blessing of resurrection only deepens the horror, spreading dragon rot, a disease that kills anyone near you every time you die. Villages are torn apart by war. Samurai, bandits, and mystical beasts stalk the countryside. There's no safety anywhere. Even the temples are home to monsters disguised as monks. Survival means cutting down both men and demons, but every fight feels like death is one mistake away. It's a grim world where violence, suffering, and decay are endless. 8. Godzilla. Living in the Godzilla universe means being at the mercy of unstoppable titans. Godzilla isn't just a monster. He's a force of nature, capable of destroying entire cities in minutes, and no human weapon can truly stop him. When he rises from the ocean, skyscrapers crumble, streets are obliterated, and millions are left dead or displaced. The real horror is that Godzilla isn't alone. Other kaiju like King Ghidorah or Rodan often appear, turning cities into battlegrounds where each clash levels entire districts. Even if you survive the attack, the aftermath, radiation, collapsed infrastructure, and toxic debris makes life nearly impossible. In this world, you're nothing more than an insect beneath the feet of warring giants. Every coastal city lives in fear, knowing that the next roar from the ocean could mean the end.